Good morning, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights, where we rate daily AI news essential, important, and optional, saving you time. Today, I have Adam, Ankash, and Tim to review the articles. You can follow along, and Paul from Davos. Hey, Paul. Uh,
Everyone.
we to follow the articles, they are listed on gaiinsights.com/articles. Would love your comments. Please look at the articles, listen to what we're thinking, and please tell us whether you agree or disagree. All right, we have a good set of articles today. Let's proceed with maybe we give Paul a floor for a second, or a couple of seconds, to tell us what's happening with Davos.
Yeah, hi everyone. It is I'm at Zurich now. We had an incredible day yesterday at the MIT AI Day in Davos. About 800 people, unbelievable, packed thing, and I'm still typing up all the different feedback. I think the major headlines though are one, everyone realizes how real this moment is in time and how expansive. So very consistent with everything we've been talking about on the panel here. I think second is, Luda, was very interesting here. No one can keep up. You know, Demise at DeepMind, Ori at AI 21. I mean, everyone, Jan LeCun, I mean, no one can keep up. So it is, we were in a explosion on every vector and everyone understands this is big and can't keep up. I think the third thing that's notable for this call, a lot of discussion on the new open source model from China, DeepSeek. That's really good. DeepSeeker, thank you. That's really gotten people's attention. It came up 5 or 6 times. And last, I think what was notable was for some good discussion on what are the right combination of skills that we want in teams and people in college, and a variation of the following was asked multiple times. So if you're in college, should you be a customer or a computer science major or liberal arts major? And the answer was both. And a lot of interest in finding people who know AI and biology, AI and material sciences. So
Correct.
this combination
because AI
of stuff,
is a tool, right? AI is a
correct,
tool
correct.
to be used. Yeah.
But anyway, but lots of excitement. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Paul. Finish.
No, we'll share more insights here, but it was definitely a wonderful day for us.
Yeah, and Ankash, you posted something. Could you please say it?
Yes, I think Jan LeCun posted on LinkedIn about the session that John Werner did, that Paul and John attended, I think, yesterday at the MIT Day.
So it might be worth reposting, Paul, on LinkedIn. That's interesting. Okay, great. Let's proceed with the first article, Ankash.
Yes, so the first one that we have for today comes from Google. So Google has released Gemini 2.0 flash thinking model, and it's a free model, and it is putting pressure on OpenAI's premium strategy.
Yes. Tim, this is an interesting introduction. We've all seen Google Gemini 1.5 Flash. This is the next iteration of that. What did you think?
Well, I think this is essential, honestly. We don't usually rate product announcements as essential.
Yeah, especially from Tim.
This is, this is Google Gemini, which has been making up a lot of ground, especially the Flash model. 1.5 made up a lot of ground. This is, as I said, a very quiet release. Didn't get a lot of attention to their newest updates, and it performs very well, at least on the benchmarks. It is a product announcement, so we'll have to see if the theory meets the practice. But O1, I think, certainly did in most people's minds. And the other important thing here is it's free, which, as they say, is a tough price to beat. So, and really, it'll be interesting to see how OpenAI responds, because they're charging $200 a month for a similar service. So if it's remotely in the ballpark in practice, this is going to be a game changer.
Yeah. Okay, great. So essential. Adam, what did you think?
I was probably leaning towards important, not essential. It's pretty big news. I'm not sure how much it actually applies specifically in the enterprise space versus more in retail or consumer. So it's a big deal. It's coming in. It's a reasoning model, and it's coming in basically between O1 Mini and O1 in terms of the performance, at least on the benchmark I checked. So that's, as Tim said, with a price like free, you can't compete with that. And I could support essential because it's something people need to know about, but I thought it was important news.
Yeah, it was essential in my book. Paul, any thoughts?
I had an important, but a lot of talk throughout yesterday and Tuesday about the progress Google in particular has made in the last quarter. So everyone, Adam, I know you and I have been talking about, everyone's really seeing Google find their way here.
Yeah, and we'll be reviewing another article that actually increases the intelligence within an LLM kind of dramatically. So I think they are really putting a lot of effort into building their models with a lot of smartness at inference time. So, okay, let's go essential on that and proceed. Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one that we have for today comes from ByteDance. ByteDance has launched UITARS.
Yeah, Adam, this is the user interface that kind of does things for you as an agent. What do you think?
I'd say this is optional news. This is a space that's getting more crowded quickly, and this is another entrant in it. But the way it works is by taking the screenshots and then using those for analysis of what's on the page and determining based on the coordinates where to click and effectively take control. Like the demo showing here, it's actually typing in to construct a search. They're certainly not the first to do it. The one thing that's a big deal here is that it's being done in that model rather than being a wrapper where then it has to pass it off to Claude or OpenAI or something else. So they're saying we're better because we're standalone, but they're not really offering anything that isn't already in market. So I thought it was optional news.
Okay, optional. Tim?
Yep, I agree. Although, as we've been saying, this is another everyday miracle. And the geopolitics of this, again, this is a Chinese thing. They're going to open source it, I believe.
From the company that does TikTok, right? ByteDance.
Right. ByteDance, yeah, does TikTok. And so it's on a par with computer use by Anthropic and similar technologies from the US. So yeah, so at one level, I agree. It's optional news because it's yet another miracle. But it is amazing what these things can already do. And this is going to revolutionize user interfaces for sure.
For sure. Yep, but optional as it stands. Okay, Paul, any thoughts?
Optional.
Optional. Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one again comes from ByteDance, and they have also launched an AI code editor, which is based on Microsoft software.
Yeah, same company, ByteDance, and they're announcing this model after they've given some time by the U.S. administration to reconsider selling TikTok, okay, or divesting TikTok. What did you think, Tim?
I think, again, really amazing, but optional. This is a competitor to Cursor and tools like that. What they do is they integrate the coding into what we call the IDE, the integrated development environment. And so it really is a big improvement in productivity and ease of use. But again, there's Cursor and many, many others out there doing very, very similar things. So same as the last round, amazing sovereign Chinese firm again doing this, but optional at the end of the day.
Okay. Optional, Adam?
Yeah, I thought optional as well. The only reason you might want to consider it is because it is actually free and you get access to Claude 3.5 and GPT 4.0. So if you're looking for an IDE where you don't have to pay basically for the consumption, but getting Claude 3.5, which is one of the best back-end software development platforms out there right now, this is the good option to know about.
Yeah,
but
it's a good point.
generally speaking, it's optional.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
had our learning lab a couple of weeks ago where was it Dan, I think his name was?
Yeah, Dan Slavin. Yeah.
Slavin went through this, and his choice was Cursor with Anthropic. And I've certainly been hearing that from a lot of people, that Anthropic is very, very good as a back-end code development engine.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, but optional it is. All right, let's put optional and proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from Perplexity. They have launched Sonar, which is an API for AI search.
Yeah, so this is a distribution move for Perplexity. It's essentially offered this API interface to be integrated into third-party applications. A very smart move. I think it's optional unless, we want to make a note for our audience that this is available. This is one of the best searches out there with references and the like. And this is a very inexpensive price-wise search. So they claim it's the cheapest. So maybe for that reason, it's important. What did you think, guys? Adam?
I was right with you, Luda, probably on the fence, leaning towards optional, but thinking important for the same reason. Just people who are looking at integrating, because Perplexity hasn't been an option through the API up till now, so that might be worth flagging.
Yeah, and it's $5 per 1,000 searches, $1 for 750,000 inputs, and another $1 for 750,000 output words, right? So this is inexpensive, and if it's integrated, that differentiates whatever you're offering. This can be good. What do you think, Tim?
I think optional. It's a good point. The main news here for me is the pricing, and again the constant potential race to the bottom here. We'll see what happens, but this is catch up for them, right? They didn't have an API, and almost everybody else does. So this to me was a catch up move that makes a lot of sense for them, but it's just a product announcement. But the pricing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's go optional. Paul, any objections?
No, optional. I think only a footnote on Perplexity. I love Perplexity. I'm just really starting to wonder if they're going to be a standalone company in a year and a half from now. I mean, Google.
Yeah, because they've lost the really significant edge they had a while back, and that's the issue for the broader market, even OpenAI. I mean, there's no protection here, as we saw from Chinese companies that are open sourcing everything, and Meta. So
and Meta.
Be interesting to see how this all boils out.
Yep.
Well, I think it's even becoming clear how it's boiling out, Tim. I think OpenAI and Perplexity were early exciting use cases, and they've got to find some differentiation, or they're going to have small market share 3 years from now.
Yeah, it's crowded. Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from Tencent, and they have launched 2.0 of their Hunnion 3D model.
Yeah, here we go again. Adam, what did you think?
This is optional. It's cool. It's actually not the fastest, or really, in my opinion, the best on the market right now. It's really them keeping up with what's happening. So you can take like a singular 2D image, and it'll create the 3D mesh topology as well as then put the material onto it, so that you get like a nice shiny thing at the end. I hopped on there real quick and tried, and took like a minute and a half or something. And I mean, just in the last week, we've seen some research coming out where literally it was in a second as well. So I think because of their size and their development cycle, they're they're a little slower to market than some of the more agile innovations that are going on in the space. So it's not really big news. I'd say it's optional.
Okay, optional. Tim, Paul, agree?
Agreed.
Agree. Okay, let's put it optional. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from Llama Index, and they have introduced Agent Workflow, which is their system for building AI agent systems.
Yes, Tim, this is one of the spaces that's very quickly evolving, and everybody and their brother is jumping into creating frameworks for agent flows and the like. What did you think about this one?
It's nice. I would call it optional. Maybe developers would be a little more interested. Llama Index and LangChain are the two big orchestration approaches, I think, in the market that have visibility and share right now. And they've added to what they already had, which was a workflow engine to support agentic workflows, as they call them. But it's a programmer's tool at the end of the day. It's an orchestration tool. So we'll see. Again, as Paul and John and others have been saying, it looks like agents are right, kind of everybody's talking about them, but nobody's really doing them. So we'll see if this triggers anything. But it's really just a modest improvement on what they already had.
Adam, any thoughts to the contrary?
Agreed.
Optional. Yeah, so the tooling for agents continues. I think we have every day we have something or other coming about agents, and the only reason why you would elevate it is because Llama Index is one of the leaders, but it's incremental and it's just tooling for agents. Paul, agree?
Agreed. One footnote just on the language. I know I've been a pet peeve about the definition of agent, but it was interesting yesterday hearing how agentic AI and agents are all just getting all blended in. I have an agent for this, I have an AI this, an agentic for this. So we really continue to be in a sea of synonyms here.
Okay, but optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the last one that we have for today comes again from Google DeepMind, and it talks about their new inference time scaling technique, which improves the planning accuracy in LLMs.
Yeah, this is an interesting innovation. I was between optional and important, ended up in important. I know, Tim, if I channel you, you will say, it's just research. Luda, what can the people can do with it? But it has two notable things. So they use what they call genetic algorithm, if you will. So they let the model generate a lot of responses to the query, and then they evaluate them, and then they select the best parents and create children. So essentially evolving the quality of the answers over, the quality of the answers, and it's all done in the natural language rather than LLM driven. And also they have an evaluation function, also natural language driven, and the results are stunning. So there is a benchmark called Travel Planner. So the Gemini 1.5 Flash gets like 1.5 or 9.5 or 5.6 actually accuracy, and O1 preview gets 11.7, and these guys get 95. So it's a very notable technique, with very approachable. You could do it yourself essentially, following this method. So that's why I think it's important. But I understand I will be tried to talk down to optional. What do you think, guys?
I actually gave it an important.
Hey!
I think, I think it's, it is research at one level, but I think we've had several this week, in fact, on this idea of how to do reasoning models and make them better. And this is another one. So important means read it if you're interested and have time, and you should read it, but not essential, right? And that's how I characterize this. It's important to be aware of new model possibilities. And as you said, the results are pretty darn impressive. And the big improvement they made is that, the claim is they're doing somewhat formal reasoning, but not using a formal language to do it. They're doing it all through natural language. The genetic algorithm stuff, yeah, that's nice, but I worked on genetic algorithms 30 years ago. So that's not really all that exciting and not that different from Monte Carlo and other things. It could be nice, but the real thing here was their ability to do the whole function in natural language and get some really incredible results. So
yeah, if you can scroll down, Ankash, the real and interesting thing is that the more complex the problem, the better the model does. So
the better it does relative to other models.
Correct.
But so again, these travel planning models, you could argue 95% is as good as most humans are going to do. So again, if you view it as an all or nothing like math test, okay, well, maybe 95% isn't that great. But if you view it as this is going to be part of an iterative process, or maybe an agentic process, but probably an iterative process, it's pretty darn good.
Right, and they beat all the other models, right?
By a long shot.
Big time.
The one thing I would add, which just adds weight to this, is that they did it with the fastest free Gemini model, which was 1.5 Flash. Which means now they're going to be doing this with 2.0 Flash, right? Because that's free as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite significant, and I expect we'll see it integrated quite quickly.
Yeah,
I was leaning towards optional, but I could support important after listening to the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Vivek says that look, we are in this era of lots of creative approaches to increase the inference, improve the inference, right? So absolutely. Okay.
What other quick footnote on DeepMind? One of the things I was just reminded yesterday of just how absolutely talented Demis is and unique he is in his position. And he has some really thoughtful things here. And it reminded me again that I need to go back and continue to find everything they're saying and watch what DeepMind's doing. I mean, Adam, they are in the catbird seat and he's seeing everything and he's calmly laying out what's just going forward. So it's really, and this fits right down that path.
Right. We used to introduce Google's advancements and innovations. Okay, Google is doing catch up, right? And they are getting into the lead for sure with all this.
Yeah, it's catch up with Demis and DeepMind as a super engine behind them. So it's get the super engine and all their data. It's stunning.
Yeah, it is stunning. Okay, any announcements before?
Just one thing. Maybe it's a teaser for our audience to stay tuned tomorrow. Allegedly, and I've seen some posts of people saying OpenAI is starting to roll out Operator, their new functionality, and right now the ChatGPT site is down. So I'm hoping things are under construction and that we'll have some exciting news to discuss tomorrow on that front.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so we Ankash, if you can pull up the scorecard, but. Any announcements, Paul, for the Learning Lab and the like?
Not for the Learning Lab. I have been asking every company I have, kind of what they're doing on employee secure chatbots. And Adam, it's really consistent with everything we're seeing. Everyone's choking on the price of Copilot. They're trying to figure out ways to get it rolled out. And I think that the other thing I've been hearing more often is the more responsible companies are putting in their explicitly telling employees to go use the free models when you're doing things like job descriptions or optimizing stuff off of a public website, which I thought was kind of an interesting approach.
I don't know if we've discussed it on here, but I've been discovering that the Copilot Studio now has a pay-as-you-go model, where you can effectively get free administrative licenses to create agents, and then you pay per message use And depending on how much inference it's doing, or if it has to go to a graph, you use different numbers of message credits. And then they're starting to sell message packs, so people can sort of like a pay-as-you-go phone where you get a slightly cheaper rate if you do an upfront payment, and it'll allow people to start getting the value from it. And then at a certain point, they'll see, look, the ROI is there, and we're spending more than the Copilot licenses would cost. So then it looks like they've created a bridge to allow people to demonstrate that ROI and get to work, which was a smart move.
Yeah. Okay. Ankash, do you have the scorecard? I don't see it. So, but we have I think we have one essential, one important, and the rest were optional for today.
Yep. And today, to me, was really a case of, we've been saying it from the beginning, but it's a good saying, which is, each day, this is the worst system we'll ever see, right? And if you think back a year to where we were just even 6 months ago, these reasoning models and the various optimizations that are being applied, it's just amazing how far they've already gotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Tim related.
And like this UI that we saw, right? It's miraculous.
Yeah.
A year ago, it would have been unheard of. And now we're putting it as optional.
And I think the other thing that was very clear yesterday on the miracle pace, everyone agreed the last 12 months has been stellar. And everyone agreed that the pace is going to increase even more. So, Adam, they were saying when we're all getting together a year from now, it's going to be even at more miracles everywhere. So we're just swimming in miracles.
Swimming in miracles. Okay, on that wonderful note, we conclude today's daily news. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Ram, Vivek, Lucinda, and all for commenting. And we'll see you tomorrow.